When I started working, it was pretty simple. You walked into some place, you might have to fill out an application once you got there, but you might actually get to talk to somebody when you applied, and that's how you got the job. Like, you met someone, you showed initiative, you walked into the building, you got to meet the person that could get you hired. A lot has changed in the world of work, especially with the more than 30 years that I've been in a career building path and all the different jobs that I've been through. But these changes, I'm going to be honest, they really haven't been for the better. And I'm not here to complain. That's not my goal here. But I just want to tell you the truth about what's really been lost. You used to get hired by a person, and that person would look you in the eye. They knew exactly what they were getting. They made a decision, and they either hired you or they didn't. And if they didn't hire you, you were told why. I mean, that's common sense, right? I've actually been turned down by companies where a real person didn't even see my name. I mean, when you get a rejection letter at, 1 a.m., that's not because someone was up late going through all of the qualified candidates' applications and deciding who they were going to move forward with and who they were rejecting. I mean, it's just rude, in my opinion. It's like we've replaced real judgment and real instinct with filters. Like, we set up this criteria. This is the person we're looking for. If they don't check all the boxes and if they don't have these certain things on their resume, reject. We don't care. We don't care about anything else. We're just looking for these key words. We're looking for these key skills. And those are the people we're going to move forward with. Maybe. Because if you spell something wrong, or you do something wrong in the application process, you just say you didn't check something or you didn't mark something correctly, reject. It's sad. Whatever happened to hiring from the heart, training the right person, even when they didn't check all the boxes that you may have preferred, but you actually invested in them, you trained them, you showed them what to do, and if they latched on and did it, that's great. They were the right person, and they might even show you things that you never thought to, actually consider. Whatever happened to that? We don't even do that anymore. It's sad. Now, they just screen for it and they miss the best way to hire. They're just missing it. Employers are missing it. No wonder we have to have bots to do jobs. People are with AI, they're concerned about bots taking their job. I'm not super concerned about that. I think it really depends upon your industry. It really depends upon what you're trying to accomplish. Maybe at some point down the line, if AI ever understands emotion and how people react, then we might need to be a little bit more concerned. But yeah, these companies that exist because they're just out there only to make $1, that's it. That's all they want. Yeah, there's plenty of bots to do that. Won't have to worry about a human. Won't have to worry about their health. won't have to worry about providing insurance, won't have to worry about the liability, the expenses that come along with having an actual human. Why would we want to do that? Just automate everything. But, my question to that is then who has the money to buy anything? If you automate everything and put people out of jobs, which I watched a thing on YouTube the other day with truck drivers being concerned because of that automation system where a robot, or not a robot, but AI is driving a 18-wheeler. That was pretty freaky. Watch that whole video. Then you put those people out of jobs, then who's your consumer? If people don't have jobs, you don't have a consumer. So is AI a good tool? Yes, AI can be an excellent tool. I've been able to do things over these last 6 months that without AI, it would have took me much more time to figure out. So is it a time saver? Absolutely, if used in the right way, with the right prompts and all the things, all of the above. But should we be replacing jobs with it? Well, I guess if you just don't expect to have humans to have any money to buy your crap. I mean, that's what we do. We go out and we buy crap. We're having a bad day, we go buy more crap. But we can't buy your crap if we don't have a job. So there you go. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Let's talk about loyalty. It used to be that you went to work for a company, you stayed there for years, you got a great pension, you had great benefits, they set you up for success. Comes time to retire, you retire maybe not with a whole bunch of money, but enough to get by and live a pretty decent life. But, wherever you started, that's where you retire from. Those were called lifers. And I think actually, when I look at the job market, that pretty much started to decline in the 90s. Like, as I was seeking a job, I started noticing that those positions, those lifer positions, just didn't exist. Now people just go from one job to another because an employer thinks that it's cheaper to replace that person than it is to keep a person that does a great job and is willing. Yeah, that it doesn't work that way. It costs more to replace an employee that knows what they're doing than to have to rehire, retrain, even if that person comes at a lower dollar amount. What's it really costing you in the end? But who am I? People used to build careers, and now you're just renting your time. I might go here for 2 years, might go there for 2 years. Now, I've had a few positions where I have stayed longer, like one of them was 7 years. This last one was 8. The one before that with the school system was 15 years. The sad thing is the school system route, people that work in the school system don't make a lot of money. But I will tell you, I enjoyed what I did there. It didn't matter what job I was doing. It was a job that had meaning. You were pouring into people's lives. You were trying to create a better world by inputting into those lives that you came in contact with every day, whether it was the child or their parent or maybe a colleague that you were working with. But we didn't make big bucks. It didn't work that way. But the funny thing is that's the one I stayed out the longest. Not funny. I think that what it does is it really shows you what's really important. What people really look for in a job. I wasn't looking to be wealthy. All I wanted was the opportunity to make a difference. And I got to do that. Another change, experience, it used to count for something. It used to be that experience mattered way more than a degree. Then in the 2000s, they started doing such a hard push on college. Well, even in the like as I was graduating, I started seeing a huge push to try to get people to go to college, and you really didn't know what you were doing. You didn't realize what you were getting yourself into. So many people graduating with so much debt, never got a job in the field that they had a degree in. Hopefully that employer would hire them just because they had a degree. And for some people, it did work out for them that way, and kudos to them. But man, I mean, the one thing that I'm thankful for is that I didn't have a bunch of college debt like some of these people did. I had a little bit of college debt because I did go for 2 years, but man, that was minor compared to what I hear people, the kind of debt that some people carry with them. It's sad. Now, you have a generation of people, me included, that have all this experience, and I haven't found anyone out there that really cares about that. It's very sad how our world has declined in that way, and there's so many people putting degree required, and even the ones that aren't are saying preferred. And when you look at the way they wrote it out, you can tell they really want someone with a degree. The only people I think that do actually look at your position are the ones that say in the job description, if you don't check all the boxes, we still want you to apply. I think those people really do look at your application. And it seems like that those are the ones that I actually get, it seems like, a human response from. So yeah, there's definitely a huge gap, a big problem that we have right now. When you tell someone that their experience isn't enough, wow, it's a pretty sad place to be. Another change that I've seen is we've stopped treating people like people. I cannot tell you the number of applications that I've put in, and I've just been ghosted. I don't even get the automated response. You just don't hear nothing. They don't tell you that, oh, we're so happy you applied. Just nothing. Silence. I even had a couple positions that I was referred to by other people that I knew, and I applied for those positions, heard nothing. I assume those positions got filled. I didn't even get a rejection letter if they were. I heard nothing. It's sad. Can't we just be humans? Why can't we just have real conversations? Have a real rejection letter? It's kind of cruel. You experience that silence, and you pour yourself into trying to get that job, crafting the right cover letter and resume, and you just hear nothing at all. It's rude. I'll just say it again. Rude. But I guess that's what happens when you optimize for efficiency. And hopefully the job application lottery machine will pull your resume, and you might actually get an interview and get to speak to someone. Yeah, that's where we're at now. Something else that I've seen a change in is speed and disposability of the job market. Everything moves faster now. Faster isn't always better. And sometimes it takes time to get the right person. And if you're willing to wait, you'll get that diamond in the rough that could really be a treasure to your company. People aren't given the time to grow in a role. They're just expected to already know how to do it once they're hired. Not sure how we got to that point. I've even seen it with places that I've been where I just couldn't believe how sometimes people were treated. You know, I'm like, well, they don't know how to do that, because I don't think anybody showed them. You know, we used to develop people, but now we expect them to be pre-assembled. That's what the employer's looking for. Some of the best employees are the ones that you're patient with. And I can have a lot of patience. It takes a lot for me to get frustrated. Let me just close by saying this. If you felt forgotten by all of this change, and there are days when I feel like that, you just feel overlooked, you feel filtered out, you're not crazy, you're not alone. I do think that there has been a lot of things that have been lost in how we hire people nowadays, and the things that we've put in place to make it more efficient, whatever that means. We can't go back to the way it used to be. We've got to deal with what's actually here, what's been put in front of us. But the one thing that we can refuse is we can refuse to lose our own humanity. Like some of those things that we've used to experience in the past. You know, we need to try to hold on to those things and encourage employers, encourage companies to not lose that. I'm still choosing to believe in humans. I want to believe in people, and I hope you will too. I hope that if you're an employer watching this, I hope that you always put people first. You're going to be the most successful employer when you put people first. In my next video, which is the last video of this series, I am going to talk about something that I'm kind of excited about. I've got a new idea, and I need your help to make that happen. So what I need for you to do right now is subscribe, share, and comment with the biggest change that you have witnessed. The more you interact with my videos, the more my channel grows. I really am trying to become independent. I've been watching so many people on YouTube that are 50 and over, and they've really said some really awesome things. I just want to say this too. I watched this guy, I think his name is Jason Ellis. He's over in England, and he has talked about walking away from the corporate hoorah, the corporate grind, and what he's doing to make those changes in his life, because of realizing that working until you're almost dead really isn't living. And I think us Gen Xers, because of what we saw our parents experience, companies just cutting them off and going out of business or changing the entity name. Like it looked like they went out of business, but really they just formed another company so that they could replace all the employees. I think because us Gen Xers have seen what our parents have went through, I think that that's why we don't see the value anymore. A lot of us, we don't see the value in hanging on with a company because we've also seen how companies have become less and less loyal to their employees. I did have an employer that took care of his employees. He's probably one of the last of the good ones. I don't know of many more that are left, but the ones that I do know, I know some that I question, but I also know some that are really good employers. Like they do take care of their employees, and it shows. Even their employees will talk about that. So, anyways, subscribe, share, comment. I'm signing off. This is Dwayne. I'm Unashamed A to Z, and I will see you later this week. I know this video was late, but I will post another one later this week.